The Victorian Government's been criticised over a community grants program aimed at compensating communities impacted by a major infrastructure build. Holly Edwards-Smith reports.
The Suburban Rail Loop will be a 90-kilometre line connecting Melbourne's east and west. A $250 million community grants program has been set up to give back to the local communities expected to be around these planned new train stations. $3 million has so far been allocated to a number of sporting clubs in the vicinity of planned Suburban Rail Loop stations. The Suburban Rail Loop will be a 90-kilometre loop linking Melbourne's eastern and western suburbs, and this money has come from a $250 community grants program. The grants range from $10,000 to $80,000 and have gone to projects including improving scoreboards, podcasts, theatre productions and increasing diversity and inclusion in ultimate frisbee. The government guidelines for the community grants state that they should be reserved for areas less than 2 kilometres away from these proposed stations, but many of the clubs that have received funding are further away. St Bede's Football Club in Mentone received $80,000 to upgrade lights, despite the club being 4.1 kilometres away from the planned Cheltenham station. Some residents in impacted areas say the government is using taxpayer dollars for political gain, allocating these funds to clubs that are kilometres away from the planned stations to gain local support. The Victorian Health Minister, Marianne Thomas, says this is not the case.
The people have misconstrued the intent of the grants program. We do know that major projects cause significant disruption. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And the Suburban Rail Loop, because of its size and the nature and vision of the project, will cause disruption. So we want to ensure that the people in the community can continue to enjoy the very best amenity that Melbourne's suburbs deliver.
Deputy Opposition Leader David Southwick says the government needs to be more transparent with funds and cautious of wasteful spending. The Suburban Rail Loop Authority spokesperson says all applications were evaluated on their merit through an open, competitive grant mechanism. Applications were assessed by a senior panel convened by Suburban Rail Loop Authority, then reviewed by an independent probity advisor. The Victorian Government says these grants will likely be scaled up to improve and strengthen communities around these proposed stations. The first phase of the Suburban Rail Loop will connect Cheltenham to Box Hill and is not expected to be complete until 2035.